gorgeous day in Northeast Connecticut as we get ready to go racing, Winston Racing modified style, here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Hello everyone, I'm Ray Dunlap along with Larry Rice. Down in the pits today, Marty Reed, as we're going to have a great show for you today. The leaves are changing here, the temperature is dropping, and there's one race to go in the season. And Larry, there's still a points race to be determined.
That's right. Jimmy Broderick is leading the point championship. He only has to finish 20th or better. But Steve Schwanski, he is the hottest guy here. He's won 3 of his last 4 starts here at Stafford Springs. He's going to be heading to the front. What's Jimmy Broderick going to do? Well, he's got a little argument with his car owner. His car owner wants him to kind of take it easy, secure the championship, but he wants to win the race. We'll see what happens.
Well, it's the final event of the season here, and all these drivers would like to win. Here's the points race right now. You see a 40-point differential as Swansky in second, then Brainerd, Bo Gunning, Potter, Ken Berry, all those guys have won, and they all could do it again today. Well, now for more on that points race, let's go down trackside to Marty Reed.
With the unique form of starting the lineup here at Stafford with the inverted order, if you want to find out where the championship's going to be contended from, well, you got to come all the way back to row number 6, because on the 11th starting position is where you're going to find this guy, Jimmy Broderick. Broderick only has to finish, as Larry pointed out, 20th or better. He talked about the fact you want to go race. The car owner wants you to cruise. Who's going to win that argument?
I think I'm gonna bring the Arbitel convenience store Dodge to the front today.
So you're going to go for the win? You're not going to worry about the points championship?
I got to do what brought me here, and what brought me here was running to the front. So hopefully the Les Care Kitchens Arbitel convenience store Dodge will be at the front today.
All right, we're going to find out. Now, let's move over right next door, because the guy who's going to start right alongside of him has to win this race, and he has to hope that Jimmy finishes like 21st. And, boy, it seems like an insurmountable task, Steve.
Well, we don't want to see Jimmy get knocked out, but it's the only way I could win it. I got a little pressure on me. I got to win. You know, that's what they tell me. I can do it. We'll see what happens, you know.
Yeah, but you almost own this track. I mean, you've got a great record. The guys were just talking about it.
Yeah, we have a good record here. You know, Jimmy's got a good record, too. He's got 6 wins this year. I got 5. You know, it's been a good year for both of us.
Rubber game of the match, guys. We're going to keep an eye on these two.
28 cars in the field, and we're ready to go racing. A big crowd on hand here. The NASCAR Winston Racing Series from Stafford Motor Speedway. Racing coming up next. Cars are rolling off. The Stafford Motor Speedway's NASCAR Winston Racing Series is about to see event number 21 of the 1997 season as all the cars fire up and head off the grid. Here is the starting lineup for you today. Frankie Cardio in the number 24 car will start in the front position, although he did not win the pole. Billy Sharp in car number 11 will start on the outside of row number 1. In row number 2, it's Frank Wainwright in the number 44. He's in a Pontiac. And Dave Garfinkel in car number 77. Bob Potter has 2 wins this season, also in a Pontiac. And Bob Georgitis in number 86, that's row number 3. Darren Mendito in number 29, and Eric Burnt in car number 54. Row number 5 sees Bo Gunning, who has 3 wins in 1997 on this track, and number 22, Lloyd Agor.
Row number 6 are 2 guys vying for the championship, Jimmy Broderick and Steve Schwanski. Those 2 guys are going to be heading to the front. Then comes Ed Flimke and Tom Sedeghi in row number 7. Row number 8 is made up by Jimmy Williams and Jamie Askler. Row number 9 is Ted Christopher, one of a couple of twin brothers, and Mike Iwanitsko. And row number 10, John Anderson and Kerry Malone.
And we saw in the points race, Kurt Brainerd's up there in the top 10, and number 96, he'll go off in row number 11 along with Chris Jones. You see a lot of Chevrolet Cavaliers and Monte Carlos in this field, including Ken Berry, a 2-time winner this season. There you see Richie Gallup, Larry Ross, all back in row number 13. And rounding out the field, Stuart McCarthy and Mike Christopher, younger brother of Ted.
Well, this is kind of a unique racetrack. This racetrack started out as a horse racetrack. Turns 1 and 2 are banked at 9 degrees, 3 and 4 at 12 degrees. The straightaways are different lengths, 550 feet on the front straightaway, 600 feet on the back straightaway. The reason it's not symmetrical is they follow exactly after the horse track, and that's the way the horse track was built.
1967 is when this racetrack was paved, and it kind of reminds you of a place called Darlington Raceway. The track, all corners different lengths on the straightaways. A very, very tough racetrack.
It is a tough racetrack, and the guys who run here a lot definitely have a big advantage because the passing zones are pretty narrow, and it's slick. The surface is slick. It's been here a long time. The rocks that are in the asphalt, they get worn, so it makes it slick. You've got to know how to set the race car up and how to run the racetrack if you want to be successful.
30 years this asphalt has been down. Cars are all ready to go, and we should be ready to go racing. Let's go down to Marty Reed in the pits.
Tires could play a factor. We talked to some of the drivers before the race today, and a couple of them went out there and said, we tried to find out how hard we could run. Well, believe it or not, they were able to burn these things almost to the cords in 12 laps of fast, hard, endurance-type racing. So that means 50 laps, you're going to have to pace yourself. You're going to have to put yourself into a position to win. And, of course, with a 50-lap sprint, if you pit, you're going to lose.
Well, that's exactly right. You cannot make a pit stop. Everybody's hauled all their pit equipment down there, but they're hoping they don't have to use it because this is a sprint race, and you've got to take all 50 laps as fast as you can. But tires are going to be very, very critical. The racetrack being as slick as it is, throttle control. That driver can really take care of the car, take care of the tires. But if he doesn't, it could be a big problem.
Lights are off in the pace car, so within one lap, we should get ready to go racing. Now, we talked a little bit about the way these cars are lined up, and folks, I can't even begin to tell you how they set this lineup, other than the fact that they have a handicapping system here. The top 20 guys in the points get put into position depending on how much money they've won in the last 3 weeks. But there are a few other variables in there, Larry, and I'm not going to try to explain.
Well, you're penalized if you don't show up in one of the last 3 weeks. You're put in the back. So there are a lot of variables. But let us just say that the 2 guys that are winning the championship are starting in row number 6. So you'd have to guess that they've got to be at least that far back in the inversion.
Frank Scambato is the flagman. He's got the green in his hand, watching the field as they come off turn 4, and the green flag is out.
We're going to see Cardile. He's leading him down into turn 1 on the outside. Billy Sharp. Looks like Sharp is going to take the lead. He got a nice run off of that thing, and he just took the lead from the outside. That's not very usual here. He gets a little sideways there. That's not something he wants to do very often.
A couple of laps, Larry. I would think that they want to get these tires warmed up before they really go racing.
Well, that's, they're going to have to do that as well. But this racetrack will warm them up pretty quickly just because it is fairly slick. These guys are going to be running them pretty hard, but they're still running 2x2 back in the field.
Couple of cars going too wide. Only the leader has jumped out, so the leader goes to the front, but still running 2x2 down the straightaway. See the number 57 car there battling in the action.
That's Shawansky, and he is heading to the front, but right behind him is Broderick. Broderick knows if I keep him inside, if I stay right behind him, that's all I have to do to win the championship. Right now, Shawansky wants to get to the front very, very quickly. He's moved up a couple of spots, but hasn't moved up nearly as quickly as I think he had hoped.
So Jimmy Broderick told us that he's going to race for the win, but I'm not sure he's going to do that until the last 10 laps of this race.
Well, that's exactly right. It's going to be a tough race. The 42 car is a Chrysler-powered car. That's a Dodge Stealth, one of only 2 in this whole field. So that's kind of interesting as well. The 42 car, and as well as Ted Christopher's car, the 13.
A lot of 2x2 racing coming down the front straightaway as Billy Sharp has broken out to quite a sizable lead there. You see as Sharp goes down to turn number 3, about 10 car lengths back to the next car, which is Frank Cardile.
Yeah, he got a terrific start, and from the start, he just pulled away. And you can see that Shawansky and Broderick was right on his tail, followed him through the traffic, or at least trying to. He got caught on the outside there, but still went on around.
You saw the 33 there, Bo Gunning, right there in the center of the screen, going to the outside, and Gunning with 3 wins here in 1997. He knows his way around this racetrack. Tight racing coming through turns 3 and 4.
That's Eric Byrne on the inside. He's the other car in that 2x2 pack right there, racing really, really tough. Lloyd Agard, a 22 car on the outside there. He's going to move back a spot.
I think Agard might be holding up the 33 of Gunning as Gunning takes a look to the inside. He's going to try to go around Bob Georgitis. Georgitis down to the inside in number 86, and nowhere to go for Gunning.
Dave Garfinkel, the 77 car, right in front of him. So, boy, this battle everywhere. These guys really still running 2x2 from about 5th place on back.
Gunning has to make the decision. Which way should I go? To the high side or the low side? Traffic holding him up a good bit right behind him. You see Shawansky now going to the outside as Broderick is right on the heels. of the number 57.
Yeah, Shawanski's trying to move to the front. You can see right there, that's the bad thing about running the outside. The race car gets a little bit loose when you run up there, and you don't want to do that for very many laps in a row. But right now, he's kind of stuck. He doesn't have any choice. Everybody's right on that bottom line. Ooh, right there again, you saw him getting a little bit sideways.
Tries to go to the outside of number 54, Eric Burnt down to the inside. He's moved right up to the bumper of Bo Gunning. So now Gunning trying to decide which way he should go. And traffic now starting to become single file on some parts of the racetrack.
Yeah, the guys up front have moved into a single file pattern. He's right back there. He had a little, I'm not sure whether they made contact or not. Boy, there's a lot of wiggling going on back there. That was the 86 car of Georgitis that got all sideways.
He sure did, and he'll lose some spots there. Now Shawanski will go to the inside in car number 57, down the back straightaway. Can he take that position? I believe he will. Coming through the turn as they exit, coming out of turn 4 and give that position to Shawanski, but battling back is Georgitis on the outside.
Yeah, he's not going to give up that spot very easily. Shawanski, though, got the preferred line down on the bottom of the racetrack and just moves on by him.
Well, Billy Sharp has really broken out in front of this pack. A surprise as good as he is running. Look at the distance between first and second place as they come across the line. Good racing in the back of the pack, but a great run for Billy Sharp from Cheshire, Connecticut in the Excavation Technology Chevrolet.
Right there you see the battle. That's the 33 car, Bo Gunning, down on the inside of Dave Garfinkel. So he's trying to move on by him, and everybody behind hoping to get around him. Oh, we got a little bit of contact in there. Got a car spinning down into the infield.
Number 54 will go to the infield.
That's Eric Burnt.
Yeah, so Burnt got sideways. That'll bring out the first caution here on lap 13. So we do see the yellow coming out here at lap 13. So, with the caution out, we're going to take a quick break here. Back with more of the NASCAR Winston Racing Series Modifieds from Stafford Motor Speedway after a word from these sponsors. Modifieds. Billy Sharp jumps out to a huge lead at the front of the race. He's leading Frankie Cardeal and Wainwright, Bob Potter, and Lloyd Agar. That's your top 5 after 14 laps here at Stafford.
And Billy Sharp really doing a nice job. Oh, Broderick is in the pits. That is not a good sign. And remember, he has to finish 20th or better to win this championship. They're looking under the backside of the car. I don't know whether they're changing the... Looks like they might just be making some weight. Let's go down to Marty and see if he can tell us what's going on. Marty?
Guys, what you have here is this bottle right here. You can see it. Take a look here. He's going up underneath. They had an overflow container that had come loose, and NASCAR made them come in and take it off. In fact, I've got it standing here right in my hands as these guys have to tighten all these hoses up. So they're going to be in here. They're going to put them right at the back of the pack. Now the drama is really starting to build.
Boy, we talked about that points race at the top of the show here, how important it is for Broderick to have a good run today. There's only 28 cars in the field, but if he starts in the back and has trouble, that could really change the championship battle chase.
It's going to be very bad. Look at this. There is the overflow can who is dragging along behind the car. You can see a piece of it fell off on the racetrack. That's what we were looking at as Marty was talking a while ago. That piece fell off on the racetrack. They had to go out and retrieve that. They had to bring him in and take it off. Let's go back down to Marty and see if he can tell us a little more.
Well, guys, it would be ironic. This thing costs maybe, what, probably about $5. If this costs you a championship, just think what that would do to the rest of your year.
I'll tell you, Marty, in 1997, the number 42 car has only finished outside the top 10 3 times this year, so it would be very uncharacteristic to see that happen. I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to charge back up through the field. We'll keep our eye on him. Jimmy Broderick at the tail of the race here, so it could be very, very interesting.
Well, it certainly could. They got a double file restart here. You must start double file. That's put Sharp on the inside, and alongside of him will be the 20 or the 22 car.
Cardeal.
Cardeal. He's going to be on the outside. So we'll see if Sharp once again, the 24 car of Cardeal, excuse me, we'll see that this time he can beat him into that corner. But the first time he absolutely could not.
The caution came out at lap 13. We're ready to go back to racing here on lap 16. Green is out and down the front straightaway. Sharp is on the gas, but all over the back bumper of him is the number 42 of Frank Wainwright. And we've got trouble on the front straightaway coming down, about 4 cars spinning. And the yellow flag is out once again, and more crashing going on the backstretch. So a very tough restart here as we just got back underway. A lot of cars involved in this one.
Well, Zegedy was one of them. The 86 car on the back straightaway is Georgitis. He was one of them. The 33 car, who's been a contender, Bo Gunning, he's also on the back straightaway. John Anderson, he's down in turn number 1. He's crawling out of his car. So we had a lot of contact, all sorts of people banging into each other on the front straightaway, and it continued pour over onto the back straightaway. That is Anderson's car. You can see. Let's take another look at it, see if we can see these guys. They're coming down the front straightaway. Contact made way back by the starting line, and you can see that Anderson, this car that's closest to us in the picture, slipped clear down into turn 1, and he made heavy contact with the outside wall.
So John Anderson from Wolcott, Connecticut is in trouble. There's a lot of damage to the right front of that race car, but it appears that that is the only car that has suffered enough damage to put him out of the race. Look at that. Tire off the front end and a lot of suspension damage. So no question about it, Anderson's day will be done today here at Stafford.
Yeah, he got squeezed into the outside wall. That's what caused all that damage. You can see that Nerf bar. That's a very heavy Nerf bar. You can see where both right side tires hit the wall very hard, and that ended his day. The 60 car, Zegedy, he went ahead, just spun around a little, did a little donut, and kept on going.
Well, let's get down pit side and check in with Marty Reed.
Yeah, we're down here with John Anderson. A terrible way to end the season. Take us through what happened.
Well, I came up behind the 14 car, and something happened to the car, and it just slowed right up. And I went to go to the outside lane. Somebody hit me real hard in the back, and I went in full throttle into the wall.
You're okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine.
Just got to live with this all winter now and wait till next spring.
Ready next week.
Oh, that's true. That's right. We still have some more races to go, but at least not back here at Stafford, unfortunately.
No, we'll be back next year at Stafford.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Well, thank you, Marty. While we were talking there, the number 57 car of Shawanski came into the pit area. They took a look at the car, but he is back out on the racetrack. And there he is. He's just about to go back out off of the pit road. So not only will the point leader be on the tail of this race, but also the guy that's chasing him. He'll have to drop to the back after going to the pits. So it could get very interesting now as Broderick and Shawanski are both on the tail of this race.
That's a tough break for Shawanski. He had a pretty good run going. He was moving towards the front. And with Broderick going into the pits, he had a great chance to still win this championship. But this is going to make it very, very difficult.
Well, more about the 57 down pit side with Marty.
Yeah, guys, I checked with the crew. The reason they had to bring him in, the Nerf bar had been bent and it was rubbing against the tire. So they figured, hey, we got to bring him in. There's too many laps left.
Well, absolutely. At lap 19 right now, and this is a 50-lap feature, they got to make sure that car's right so he can try to make a challenge on Broderick.
And he was probably involved with that other crash that was on the back straightaway. There you can see how badly bent that Nerf bar is. They've got it away from the tire, but it was pulled back into that right rear tire, so they had to pull it back forward. And as I started to say, he was probably in that involved in that little mix-up with Bo Gunning back there and Georgitis, who got together on the back straightaway, because he was in that pack of cars. It's a good thing it didn't happen to the left side. You can see the oil cooler on the left side of that car. If it had gotten into that, it could have ended his day very easily.
Well, the right front tire is a bit vulnerable on Shawanski's car, and he's at the back of the pack. Your leader is Billy Sharp, and we'll be back with more racing after this. Crash brought out the second yellow today here at Stafford Motor Speedway. We're in northeastern Connecticut for the final event of the 1997 Winston Racing Series for the Modified Division. Now, folks, they call these cars the SK Modifieds, but it's referred to nationally as the NASCAR Winston Cup, or excuse me, the NASCAR Winston Racing Series, but they've been known around here as the SK cars for a long time, and many of the drivers get their start in this division and then move up to the Featherlight Modified Tour Division. Some great racing over the years here at Stafford, and we're just about to go back to green flag racing with the number 11 of Billy Sharp on the point once again, and to the outside it's the number 24 of Frank Cardiel. We'll get a restart here as one car heads to the pits. They're in the center of turns 3 and 4. We should see the green flag this time.
The 44 car of Wainwright on the inside. He's got a great spot for a restart. He could get by Cardiel and get into second spot if he can get a good enough start. That's the best start that Cardiel has gotten, but he still has fallen back to third place, it looks like, as Wainwright did move up into second place. You took advantage of that inside starting spot. Ooh, Cardiel got out of the throttle. Everybody, little contact there. and he had to get out of the throttle, and he lost another spot.
And that really hurt the 51 of Bob Potter. Potter had a good restart, but he had to slow up there when Cardeal slowed down there after the restart. So Potter gets shoved to the outside now, and he's going to try to get back in line and go racing once again.
Yes, when we look a little bit farther back in the pack, that's Shawansky and Broderick trying to move their way back up through the top. You can see Broderick on the outside. I think especially Shawansky now, he's going to have to forget about the tires and how badly they're going to wear. He's got to charge to the front, the heck with it. He's got to go there. He's got to win this race. And if he blisters a tire, too bad. He's going to have to live with it.
One car out of shape a little bit as Richie Gallup goes up to the high side. And I believe you're right, Larry. How frustrating can that be for Shawansky as he looks to the outside and sees right there's Broderick and he's ahead of him?
Yeah, Gallup, he's just running fast enough that nobody seems to be able to get around. Now Broderick got a little sideways in there, let Shawansky go by, and Broderick loses a couple of spots. That's the 12 car, Ken Berry, right in front of him. And Broderick, somebody on the outside of him, maybe he's going to lose another spot.
Good year for Ken Berry in that number 12 car. 2 wins this season.
Oh, he went clear down on the apron of the racetrack, slid right up almost into the side of Richie Gallup. Gallup had to give him room, but when Gallup moved over, he did not lose the spot.
Preston, Connecticut, the hometown for the 12 car, as one car is sliding off the track over in turns 3 and 4, but he gets back underway, so no caution. That is the number 16 of Eddie Flemke. And Flemke gets back underway, but he'll be at the tail of the field. And once again, the lead starts to separate a little bit. And Billy Sharp is having a great run today here at Stafford.
Well, Billy Sharp started his career in quarter midgets, like a lot of race car drivers we see today who started in quarter midgets or go-karts. And obviously, he learned a lot from that. He's only 23 years old, and he's doing a terrific job. As we take a look back at Shawansky now, he's on the inside of Berry, trying to move him over and move up one more spot. Berry is not going to give up very easily.
And trouble over in turns number 3.
Man, oh man, somebody took a heavy hit.
Car number 54, I believe it is. Yeah, so Eric Burnt once again involved in trouble. He brought out the first caution here today and now brings out the third, and there is plenty of debris on the racetrack, so they're going to have to get out there and clean that up before we can get back underway.
Well, that's the second time he's been in trouble here today. He started out with a great race. He started up front, was running. Oh, he had heavy contact with the right side of that car. You can see it knocked off part of the Nerf bar that rolled down halfway down the racetrack. But look at that right front wheel. It is definitely not going to get back in this race because it's sitting at about a 45-degree angle.
So Eric Burnt with trouble on the racetrack. We had just shown you that battle in the points as Shawansky has made his way past the car of Jimmy Broderick, the number 42. He had made a pass there and picked up a couple of positions on the racetrack. But once again, the yellow flag is out here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Third caution of the day, and we'll be back with more racing in the NASCAR Winston Racing Series Modifieds after this. And Marty Reed bringing you the action from the Modifieds here at Stafford. The SK division, better known as the NASCAR Winston Racing Series. The Billy Sharp in the number 11 has been out front right from the green flag. And there's Bo Gunning heading to the pits in car number 33.
Yeah, he's been in there, I think before. He was involved in that little accident a little earlier in the day on the back straightaway. And it looks like they've got some front end problems. You can see him up there working on the left front of that car. Looks like they're tugging at something. So he might have bent something, and he could have had contact in that last altercation. We don't really know.
Bo Gunning with 32 career wins, 3 of them coming this season right here at Stafford, and he had really hoped that today in the fall finale would be his 33rd win, since that's his car number, but it doesn't appear that's going to be the case. The field is getting back in line out on the racetrack, and we see that the light is off on the pace car, so we'll be ready to go back to racing action.
Yeah, we're on lap number 29, so there's about 20 laps to go. And Shawansky is back in 16th position, so he's got a lot of positions to gain in only 20 laps.
So we see the number 11 car on the point, as it has been all day, Billy Sharp in the Excavation Technology Chevrolet, but look right behind him, car number 22 of Lloyd Agar. He has really come in a hurry, and that car looks like it's working pretty well. We'll see if he is able to make any kind of run at Billy Sharp. So a 2x2 restart coming off turn 4. Pace car is off the track, and we're back under green.
Once again, it looks like Sharp gets a pretty good start, but this time, the 44 car of Wainwright hangs right with him. Interesting story about Wainwright. His father is a songwriter. He's got a song that's right at the top of the charts right now.
Pretty good place to be, and I think the driver would like to be at the top of the charts right at the end of the day.
They're both at the top of the charts right now.
Absolutely. Here's the battle for the championship. Side by side down the front straightaway, the 42 of Jimmy Broderick, and on the outside there's Shawanski. His car is working great as he goes to the outside in the 57 car, but he's got a long way to go if he's going to upset Jimmy Broderick.
Yeah, it's that pit stop really cost him. That little contact back there when he had to go in just cost him a ton of positions, having to go clear to the back. And he has to win the race. That's the only way he can win this championship. He knows that, oh, we got into more trouble down in turn number 2.
One car spinning by himself in the dirt there. Looks like the number 25 of Jamie Askler. So Askler is off and the yellow is out once again. So we will see the 4th caution. With Askler sitting that close to the edge of the racetrack, they decided to throw the yellow out. Even if he was able to get it fired up as he does now, it was too dangerous of a position, so we're under yellow once again.
All right, he's going to get back on the racetrack. We might tell you that the caution flags do count unless they show a red caution together. That means that the laps do not count. They did. The second caution was a red yellow, so they did not count those few when they had that huge crash both on the front straight and back straightaway. But these laps will count under as laps towards 50 laps.
So the 25 car brings out the 4th caution. Here's what happened. Coming down, and it looks like he may have got just a little bit of help there. Couldn't see the car number, but Askler slides down in the dirt. And again, with him being that close to the racetrack, it was a good call to put out the yellow.
Yeah, when you're sitting that close to the racetrack, almost anything can happen. Somebody comes through there and T-bones you while you're sitting there. Not a good thing to happen.
You see Frank Scambato Jr., he is the flagman, and he's been pretty busy in the early stages of our race today here at Stafford Motor Speedway. You see the racetrack, folks, and there is a lot of wear and tear on this old place, and we hear that they are going to be repaving this racetrack right after this event.
And look at the crowd. This place is packed. This is the biggest event of the year, I think, for the Root family here at Stafford Motor Speedway. And look at that. They got to have, if it's not capacity, it's gone close to it.
Great crowd and a beautiful day for racing here. It's the fall finale, the 21st event for these modified cars. And folks, we talked a little bit about Jimmy Broderick and what a great year it's been for him. You need to understand what an incredible feat it is for Broderick to have captured the New England Championship in the Winston Racing Series. They have all these divisions across the country, and they compete against some of the greatest racetracks in the country in this modified division. And they have a competition index factor that they count how many cars you raced against each week and how many cars you beat and where you started, and a lot of different factors that go into that. But congratulations to Jimmy Broderick, an unbelievable feat as he has won the Winston Racing Series New England Championship. An absolute great feat.
It's interesting to note that every one of the tiers, they have different tiers in that Winston Racing Series championship, and every tier is held or led by somebody here at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
A great racing division here, and these folks put on a whale of a show for all of the folks. So we see the number 11 car, Billy Sharp, once again to the inside. The number 22 car, Lloyd Agar, is one of those handful of drivers that got his start back at the old Danbury Race Arena. Now that track closed back in 1981, but you might know another guy that started there. Remember Randy LaJoy? I think he's got a pretty good thing going in Busch Grand National. So Lloyd Agar, one of those drivers from that track, but he's having a good run today in that car number 22. We'll see if he can do anything with Billy Sharp. We're about to go back to racing. We expect the green flag this time off of turn 4.
That's Kurt Brainerd on the outside, starting in 4th. That green and black car, he's done a nice job. He's running up in 4th position now. As you can see him all running there side by side. Brainerd gets way wide, and it looks like he's going to lose at least one spot, maybe more.
What a great start for Wainwright as he come down the front straightaway. It looked like he was going to take that position over, but as he got to the center at turn number 1, he just washed up, and Billy Sharp took the lead over once again. So Wainwright will go to the 2nd position. The 44 is 2nd. The 22 runs in 3rd.
Billy Sharp has just had things absolutely perfect for himself today. Every time there's a restart, and there's been 4 of them so far, he's been able to pull away as we're taking a look there at Ted Christopher. That's the other Dodge Stealth car, the 13 car. but Billy Sharp has just done a terrific job. He's never won a race here, and winning would, believe me, this race especially would be a big deal to him.
Well, sure it would, Larry, but he started up front. How about that 13 car of Christopher, man? He came all the way back from 17th and is now running 4th on the Speedway, so a good run for Ted Christopher.
Well, it is a good run. You know, anytime you run from the back to the front, you've done a great job. Look at the way he runs this racetrack. He's got a lot of experience here. He's won a lot of races here. I believe he's won something like 40-some-odd races at this particular racetrack. So he won 39, I think, in the SK Modified here. So he's done a great job running at this racetrack. He's got to figure out how to run this racetrack.
Well, Ted Christopher running in all kinds of divisions in 1997. He's been in the NASCAR truck division. He's running the Busch Grand National North division. He's just all over the place. Not competing on a full-time basis here or in the Featherlight Modified Tour, but he runs some races and he runs them pretty well.
So he's right now really working. So we take a look back at the back of the pack. That's still Shawanski and Broderick. They're still running right together, but they have not. Shawanski needs to move up, and it's just taking him a little longer to get through the pack than he really needs to be.
Great racing going on here at Stafford Motor Speedway, and we'll be back with more of the NASCAR Winston Racing Series after this. Welcome back to Stafford Motor Speedway racing, continuing on the racetrack, and some contact there between Agor and Wainwright, and he makes contact with the 13 and Christopher, and down the front straightaway. The big loser in that battle is going to be the 22 of Agor. Yeah, he got into Christopher first, or Christopher got into him after he had already made contact with Wainwright. And once that happened, really Christopher was not, there wasn't anything he could do. He could move down, go into the dirt, or he could kind of hold his own. And he just chose to hold his own. And like you said, Agor was the big loser in that little skirmish. Running down the front straightaway at about 100 miles an hour, and then this happens. A little bit of contact there with the 13, and then it was all over.
Yeah, see, he tried to pinch it down underneath Wainwright, and when he did, the 13 car, Ted Christopher, was already there. They made contact, and I think once he got loose, he kind of pulled down a little bit further. Let's take another look. See, right here, they made contact once, and then Christopher, whoa, he just got him with the right front into the left rear, and he just turned around.
Wheel-to-wheel racing, that's the way they do it here at Stafford each and every week, and just that little bit of a bump sent Lloyd Agor around, and so a tough break for car number 22.
Yeah, it's pretty risky. You know, these are open wheel cars. You get to bumping like that, it's very, very difficult to stay on the racetrack. These cars are running so fast down this. This is a big half-mile racetrack. I mean, it's fast down the straightaways here, and what contact like that can get you in trouble real quick.
Well, you're looking at the number 57 of Steve Shawanski from Waterbury, Connecticut. Can he dethrone Broderick? Well, we'll find out when we come back. More racing from the NASCAR Winston Racing Series in just a moment. Full fall day is on hand, and a huge crowd has gathered here to watch the final event of the 1997 season. It's the big fall finale, and the crowd is seeing some great action here. The place is packed. Billy Sharp is leading. Frank Wainwright is in second, then Ted Christopher, who has come a long way. And look at Mike Christopher all the way from 28th up to 4th. Then you see Brainerd, Chris Jones, Bob Potter in the 51, Shawanski there, Ken Berry, and Scott Quinn. That's your top 10 as they're running on the track. 44 laps down, 6 laps to go.
Well, Shawanski has got to gain 7 more spots in 6 laps. That's going to be a very, very tough thing to do, especially when you got the Christophers up there who have come from so far back in the field. Boy, they have done a terrific job. Ted Christopher, of course, we told you, had 39 wins here, almost 40 wins here in this division, so he obviously knows his way around and how to set the race car up for this place.
The 1996 Stafford SK Modified champion is Ted Christopher, so don't be surprised if he's able to run to the front. And as we look at the recent winners of this particular event, you see Jimmy Broderick won it last year, and there's Ted Christopher, so you know he knows his way to victory lane.
And look at this, Broderick, Christopher, and Shawanski, the last 4 years, those guys have won all the races. So Bob Potter, he's been around here a long time, and he hasn't been a real factor up front today, but he's well known in these parts and always been a winner.
You know, we talked about the Christophers being up front there, Larry. I mean, these are a couple of drivers that we know can win, but what about the guy who's up front? Billy Sharp from Cheshire, Connecticut. He has never won in this division.
He's never won in this division. He only has one top 5 finish to his credit. So to win this race would be a great victory for him. He's only 23 years old. As we said, he started in quarter midgets. This kid would be on top of the world if he could lead these last 6 laps and take home the victory.
I'll tell you, when you look back through the stats of 1997, I think one of the things that's most impressive about this young driver is he only has 1 top 5 finish, but he's really held his own today. Maybe it's because he's on TV. Maybe that's giving him a little bit of motivation.
And look at those 2 guys starting in the second row. That's the Christopher brothers. They're side by side. Believe me, Ted Christopher is going to be right behind Sharp now. He's a veteran. He's the guy with a lot of experience. He's going to put a lot of pressure on this young kid. This young kid is going to, the main thing he's got to do now is concentrate on running his race car, not let the fact that, look at this. He's giving him a little bump already. He's putting the Nerf bar on him. He's wanting to shake up that young man and make him make a mistake. Ted Christopher's been around here a long time. He knows how to win races, and by giving him a little Nerf there, he's just reminding him, I'm the veteran. I'm the guy that's going to let you know what it takes to win this race.
Well, Teddy Christopher is definitely the veteran, but it looks like Sharp's the veteran as he made a great restart. Down through turns 1 and 2, down the back straightaway, and Wainwright loses a position.
Oh, we got a big crash on the back straightaway. There's cars everywhere back there.
And a wheel has come off one of the cars as it bounces down the front straightaway, or excuse me, the back straightaway, so one car will be disabled completely as a number of cars are together back there.
Oh, man, that's Ed Flemke's the 16 car. The 12 car of Ken Berry, that's another one of the cars involved in that big crash. And there, what a tough break for Bob Georgitis. He had a great start, and he got tangled up early in the race, and now then this tangle is going to be way worse than that. And look at this, somebody else against the outside fence. That's Darren Mendito, and he's crawling out of his car. He took some heavy damage.
So a couple of cars will definitely be disabled from this crash, which has got the 6th caution out of the day. A couple of cars getting bunched up there going down the back straightaway, and as one car slides sideways, that's Flemke.
Yeah.
He gets sideways, and then it all breaks out all around him.
Well, I think Ken Berry was actually the first car that got sideways down there. Then he got hit by Flemke going down. So that's the 12 car.
Yeah.
That's the sideways. He got a little sideways coming off of turn 2. Tried to get it under control, clear down the back straightaway. Then he went up and ran into a couple of other cars, and looks like Mendito was, he and Berry were the 2 big losers in that bit.
So a number of drivers with a big problem here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Beautiful fall day for racing. We're going to take a timeout and come back with the finish of today's 50-lapper.
Take us through what happened.
Well, Marty, it looked just like Ken Berry he got turned around a little bit. He got off the corner, he got to take sideways down the infield, and the car basically reverse spun. What I mean by that is it came out to the right, back onto the race surface. You know, we were hoping he was going to be gone by the time I got to it, because you never want to hit a driver in a door. At least it was a passenger's door. We hit him pretty square. He drove away. My biggest concern was him being all right, but I know Art Berry, like us, they build a real safe car at Spafco, so the testament to the car is he's okay. That's the important thing.
Guys, one of the things I need to point out, by my count, there's only 20 cars left in the field. That means the championship now belongs to Jimmy Broderick.
Well, I think you're right, Marty. We talked so much about all the battle that was ahead of Steve Shawanski, and I think the battle is now over.
Yeah, Broderick is going to win the championship, so now that he can concentrate on winning the race, which is what he basically has been doing all day. He really didn't lay back a whole lot. That real early yellow or pit stop where he had to take that filler can off really hurt his chances, but luckily for him, the same thing happened to Shawanski. And this is going to be his championship. It's going to be a well-deserved championship. He has the Dodge Stealth. He's the first guy to get out here, I think, to run the Dodge Stealth. Now then we've got another one, the 13 car of Ted Christopher.
So the black flag is being shown for the 12 of Ken Berry, who brought out that caution. So there's something wrong with that race car. And look at the Nerf bar on the right side. I believe NASCAR has said they better take a look at that. Not sure that it's safe for him to continue, so they'll bring him in. The crew's going to take some action on it as they jump up and down, try to get him back in the race, ready to go back to racing. We've had 6 cautions here, 5 laps remaining to decide it. Down the front straightaway, Billy Sharp gets a good start. Wainwright with a little bit of a bump to him there, and on the outside is the 13 of Ted Christopher.
Oh, and Ted Christopher got a terrible break. At the same time, his brother Mike Christopher got a good break as Wainwright went up the racetrack. Ted Christopher lost spots. Mike Christopher moved into second place. Look at that. He's way back in about 5th or 6th spot now.
We saw Kurt Brainerd in the number 96 car run right up to the back of Ted Christopher. May have gotten him a little bit loose, but now it's Mike Christopher who's going to put the pressure on the number 11. Oh, and a bit of contact there as Ted tries to work his way back through the field.
That was Bob Potter back there in the 51 car that had that contact. We said that he was a veteran around here. He's moved clear up into 4th spot and battling Wainwright for that 4th spot. But Billy Sharp just keeps hanging on. He's pulling out into a 1-car length lead over Mike Christopher, and it looks like he's going to be able to hang on.
And here goes Ted Christopher down to the inside of Potter. Now the battle for first as the 78 car has come all the way from the back of the field up to the front. 3 laps remaining here as he is trying to challenge Billy Sharp.
And you can tell the tires are getting old. You can tell. You can see these guys slipping and sliding around a little bit, especially Billy Sharp with these tires. And they, 50 laps is a lot of laps on him. He's really getting a lot of pressure right now. Christopher all over his bumper, really driving it. Oh, did he touch him? If he didn't, I don't think he touched him. I think Sharp just got sideways.
White flag is out. Billy Sharp down to the inside. Can the number 78 make a move on him? Down the back straightaway, just a half a lap to go. The very best finish of the year for the number 78 of Mike Christopher was 4th place. He's going to better it today if he can hold on, but can he win? Down the front straightaway, here comes Billy Sharp, and his first career victory in the SK Modified Division came right here at Stafford Motor Speedway today, and I'll bet you that young man's pretty happy.
Hey, that young man did a heck of a job as we take a look at the 96 car. That's Kurt Brainerd. He spun out down there in the last lap. Billy Sharp did a great job. Mike Christopher put a little nerve on him. He worked very hard at shaking the kid up, trying to make him make a mistake. That kid kept his cool. A lot of credit has to go to him because he had every opportunity to blow this thing because those guys were leaning on him.
Well, he did a great job, and coming off of turn number 4 as the white flag flew, he really had his hands full there. So congratulations to the number 11 car, Billy Sharp from Cheshire, Connecticut, the Excavation Technologies Chevrolet with his first career win right here at Stafford Motor Speedway.
Well, it's a happy crew and a happy bunch of guys in there in his crew right now.
The first win for Billy Sharp. When we come back to Stafford Motor Speedway, Marty Reed will talk to the winner. Championship goes to Jimmy Broderick, but the win goes to Billy Sharp, and he's with Marty Reed.
Yes, and down here, Billy Sharp being congratulated by members of his crew. A big hug. And let me try and work my way in here, guys, and see if we can talk to the first-time winner. There was a lot of hell going on behind you, but you did a great job of keeping out of it.
I had a mirror full of cars. Every different time I looked in it, there was a different car, and I don't even know what. I'm glad I came home in one piece. I'm glad we're here. I'd like to thank ETI and Tower Travel, Sign Technologies, Dave Gagnon Racing Engines for awesome power today. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything more. Chassis Dynamics, this is a chassis car. It's a great car. It handles great. Eagle Auto Body. Oh my God, I gotta catch my.
Let's talk. You catch your breath. I want to ask you about that last couple of laps. There's a lot of little nudging going on there.
Yeah, actually there was. The caution laps I thought were gonna help me, and they were hurting me, and the tires were cooling off, and the stagger closed up, and it started pushing real bad, and I just did everything I could to hold on, and it worked out for the best.
Well, congratulations on a great win, Billy. Hey, guys, you take it back. I'm going to find the new champion.
Well, only one time in 1997 did Billy Sharp not make a start. That was all the way back on May 9th, so that was his 20th race and his first victory. You see the number 11 at the top of the heap here. How about Mike Christopher coming all the way from the tail to the front? Then you see Frank Wainwright, a good run for Bob Potter, who's a 3-time winner this year, and Ted Christopher rounding out the top 5.
Well, Chris Jones and Steve Shawanski came back from 7th after going clear to the back. Then Lloyd Agar, Scott Quinn, and Richie Gallup rounded out the top 10.
And as we move a little further back through the field, you see Mike Iwanitzko in the number 5. Bo Gunning in the 33 had a little trouble, had to go to the pits. Jimmy Broderick probably not going to be all that happy with a 13th place finish, but he's got to be happy about the championship, right, Marty?
He's got the biggest smile on anybody's face down here, but I got to start off with what was going through your mind when you had to come in and have that bottle taken off.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. It was just one of them deals that fell off, and I was hoping they'd say I didn't have to pit, but my crew chief dentist said that it was dragging for like 15 laps, so we had to come in, and then we were in the back, so I says, oh, I'll play it cool, run in the back, and then Steve pitted, so I just tried to stay with Steve for the rest of the race. You know, I would like to have run for the win, but we had to look at the big picture.
So how's it feel to be a champ?
It feels great. I won the New England Regional Championship earlier this week. Now the Stafford Championship. It doesn't get any better than this.
So what's the plans for the future?
Hopefully we're going to be going modified tour next year. I'd just like to take a second to thank Arbitel Convenience Stores, Less Care Kitchens, Harbor Petroleum, Precision Automotive. All these people are behind me all year. My crew, they worked hard all year, and we set our goals for the championship. And I'd like to thank the wife and the Lord above. Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to stop talking to you so you can go talk to and celebrate with everybody. That's your winner.
He's the champion of 1997, not only right here at Stafford Motor Speedway, but in all of New England. And Larry, one of the best things about it is he gets to go to Nashville and go up to the banquet and say, hey, I won the championship.
Have been disqualified for illegal motors. It means the man to my left with a big smile on his face, Mike Christopher, is the new champion. Congratulations.
Thanks, boy. I'll tell you, it was a hard race, and I really thought I could have beat him on the racetrack. We let him go with 2 to go and just missed it by a little bit. We were that much better, but hey, we'll take him any way we can.
Better late than never, right?
Exactly.
So you had plenty of time to think about all the thank yous and everything else and taking care of everybody. You got the whole team here, everybody's smiling. So what's on the agenda for the party now?
I really don't know. We're just probably buy everybody some beer and just go drinking a little bit.
Congratulations. Great job, Mike.
Thank you very much.